Alright, so in this section we're still going to be talking about factoring, but in this case, or in this video, we're going to look at equations or trinomials that are very different. Alright, before we had an example problem, something like x squared plus 3x plus 7, right? And this one right here, or this leading coefficient was a 1, right? However, in this case, the leading coefficients are bigger than 1, right? 5, 6, 3, 2, they're all bigger than 1. So we have a different method of solving this, and this method of solving is called slide and divide. Alright, so again, because all of these examples have a number in front of the leading coefficient or leading term, right, we have to use slide and divide. We can't break this down, we can't factor using the method we learned in the video before, right? We're going to use slide and divide. So the first part, rewrite the equation maybe a little bit bigger just so we can see. Alright, the first rule I want you guys to do, factor out a GCF. Alright, so again, what is the common factor of these three terms, right? If there is something, factor that out. If there isn't, then we can just go on ahead. In this case, there's nothing in common, right? 5, 11, 2, nothing in common. These only two have x's. This guy doesn't even have an x, so forget about it, right? So what we need to do is slide rule first, right? So we take that leading coefficient, which is 5, right? It's always going to be in front of the x squared part. That 5 we're going to take to the back and multiply. So that's times 5, right? So if I were to rewrite this, that 5 went to the back, right? So we have x squared plus 11x. This times this gives you 10, right? So now look, there's a 1 in front, right? Well, actually there's no number, but really there is an invisible 1, which we really don't write. So now we can factor this, and when we factor it, our answer is going to look like x plus or minus something, x plus or minus something, right? So we need two numbers that multiply to this, but you add up to this. Alright? So 1 times 10 obviously gives you 10. 1 plus 10 gives you 11. So this works out. We know that this one is going to be plus 1. This one's going to be plus 10. And we're almost done. Yeah, I know you said we're almost done. We take this 5, and now we're going to divide. Alright? So we're going to take this 5. We're going to divide this to this term. Divide it to this term. Alright? So let's look at the right butt cheek first, alright? So x plus 10 over 5. 10 over 5 is the same thing as 2, so I'm just going to put x plus 2. So, right, we're going to simplify. X plus 1 over 5. 1 over 5 you can't simplify anymore. So what you do is you take this 5 and you swing it to the front, and we have 5x plus 1. Alright? So we have our factored form. We have left side, right side. If we wanted to check, we would FOIL, right? So 5x times x is 5x squared. 5x squared, so far so good. 5x times 2 is plus 10x. 1 times x is plus x. 1 times 2 is plus 2. This is the same thing as 5x squared. If we combine these right here, that's 11x plus 2, right? So this is the exact same thing as that. We're good. This is your answer, and we are done. Alright? That's slide and divide. I'm going to go through these problems again. Take out another sheet of paper so you can basically write all of these examples out just so you have it for your notes. Alright? Alright, so the next problem is 6x squared minus 23x. Yeah, I don't know what happened right here, but let's try that again. 6x squared minus 23x plus 20. First, see if we can take out something in all of these numbers. In this case, we can't factor anything out. So all we need to do is take this leading coefficient, multiply it to the back, and we have x squared minus 23x plus 120. Alright, so now that we have more room, we have 120, right? We need two numbers that multiply to 120, but then when you add it, it gives you negative 23, right? When you add it, it has to be negative 23. So what two numbers do that? Let's try 8 and 15. Alright, 8 and 15 do give you 120, but 8 plus 15 gives you a positive 23, right? So this doesn't work. We need something else. Let's try negative 8 and negative 15. Alright, this still gives you positive 120. Negative 8 plus negative 15 does give you negative 23, so we're good to go, right? So I know I kind of did this quickly, but you're going to have to basically guess and check, right? Guess what two numbers multiply to 120, and guess what two numbers also add up to negative 23. It's going to take you a while. Maybe sometimes you'll get it quick enough, but sometimes not, right? But just be patient. So we have x minus 8, right? X minus 8 and x minus 15, right? These are our two numbers that we use to get 120 and negative 23. So that's our factored form. The next part, we need to take that 6 and then divide it, right? Divide it by 6, divide it by 6, and then simplify. Alright, so let's simplify this. This is going to be x minus 4 over 3. This is going to be x minus 3 goes into both of them, 5 over 2. But we don't want that, right? We don't want any fractions, so we take that bottom number again and just slide it to the front. So we have 3x minus 4. Take this bottom number, slide it to the front. We have 2x minus 5, right? And there's our answer. Say you guys aren't sure about that, FOIL, check to see if you are right, alright? FOIL is your friend. Do it. Alright, next problem. Next problem is 3x squared plus 4x minus 15. Alright, so here, again, check to see if we can factor out something. This case, 3, 4, 15, nothing in common, right? So we take the leading coefficient 3, multiply it to the back, alright? And so we have x squared plus 4x minus 45, right? So we have that. Leading coefficient is now a 1. So now we can factor, right? We need two numbers that multiply to negative 45, but when you add it, it gives you a positive 4. All right, so let's check this. 9 times negative 5 will give you negative 45, so that's good. 9 plus negative 5 will give you positive 4, so we're good. So we have our factored form. We have plus 9 x minus 5, right? So far so good. Here, now we need to take this and use the divide method. So we're going to take that, divide it. We have divided by 3, divided by 3. Alright, now simplify. Alright, so x, 9 divided by 3 is just 3, so we have the 3 right here. We can't simplify that anymore, so we take this 3, we slide it to the front. We have 3x minus 5, and we're done. Alright, so again, check to see if you did this right. FOIL again, and you guys should get this back right here. Alright, next question. We got 2x squared minus 13x minus 7. Alright, check to see if you can factor something out. Nope, we're good. Take that leading coefficient, we're going to slide it to the back, times 2. So x squared minus 13x minus 14. Alright, so two numbers that multiply to negative 14, but when you add it gives you negative 13, right? We're looking at these two numbers. So here, negative 14, let's see, we can do negative 14 times 1 will give you negative 14. Negative 14 plus 1 will give you negative 13. So that works out. We have our factored form so far. Negative 14 x minus 1, or plus 1, sorry, plus 1. Alright, now the divide part, we need to take this 2, divide it now, so divide it by 2, divide it by 2, and then simplify. Alright, so left side, x minus 14 over 2 is the same thing as 7. X plus 1/2, we can't really simplify this, so all we got to do is take this 2 and plug it to the front or slide it to the front, 2x plus 1, right? Sometimes it really should be slide, divide, slide, but whatever. Check yourself, use FOIL. It should give you this original equation back. If it didn't, then we did something wrong, but please check yourself, alright? I think that was the last example. The last part on this is factoring out a monomial, right? Sometimes you won't be able to factor something out, so all we can really do is just factor something that they have in common out, alright? It's something that we already did in the last sections before, but let's just go over it one more time. So we have 18x squared minus 33x plus 12, right? So you know how I kept on saying, see if you can factor something out? This is a case where you can factor something out, right? How do we factor something out? Here we have, let's break this down, 6 times 3. We have 2 x's. Here we have, let's say 3 times 11, and then we have 1x, right? Here we have 4 times 3. I know this is like really weird looking, but what do they all have in common? The only thing that they have in common is this 3, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to write this over here, and you guys can write it wherever. We have a 3 out here, and then we have a 6, and then 2 x's, so we have 6x squared minus, we have 11 and an x, so we have 11x, and then we have a leftover 4, right? So this is what they mean by taking a monomial out. For the most part, in a trinomial like this, in a quadratic equation, which you guys will see in the next unit, you could only take out a number. Here, what you need to do is check to see if you can take out something like this, right? And then this parentheses in here, this is what you can factor and do what we did up here, alright? Same thing up here, alright? So again, the very first thing you guys need to do, factor out a number if you can. If you can't, go on with a slide and divide, alright? That's basically it. Please try these problems, and we'll go over that in class, alright?